Hey David, how you been doing this week? It's good to see you again. Decided to set up in the kitchen because I've got some great sunlight coming in here today. So, we'll begin our practice by finding something comfortable to bring our hips up on. You see here, I've just got a little bit of blanketing, but you may need to use a little bit extra layering or maybe a meditation cushion or a pillow, something that makes it to where when you sit you're pretty comfortable, but maybe you notice those agitating points in your hips that you told me about in your message earlier. So if you're feeling nice and comfortable there, you might at any point decide to switch which leg is in front, or you might also decide to try to walk the feet a little bit closer forward and spread the ankles out further to increase the growth that can happen, the space that can happen in your tight hip muscles. Once you've got a nice comfortable seat, what I'd like you to do is to connect the index finger and the thumbs like so. This is a mudra, kind of like the connection points on a battery. You can feel something here, and if you really tap into the subtle nature of things, you'll feel an energy flow, a pranic flow going through these points that changes a little bit of what's going on in the body. Place these mudras down on your knees. Allow the eyes to close. Take a deep inhale. Exhale and relax. Take a deeper inhale. And really relax. Look for the deepest inhale you can possibly take. And as you exhale, let it all go. Now simply begin tracking the breath. I believe we did this in the last video. You're simply going to notice the rise and the fall of the breath. And noticing that the ends of the inhales create the beginnings of the exhales, and the ends of the exhales create the beginnings of the inhales. This gives you a constant flow of something to check in with instead of the erratic flow of thoughts that may be running through your head. Just a few more breaths here. Now we've created that blank slate to begin working a beautiful painting upon, instead of a slate that may have been already full of today's thoughts and feelings. Deep inhale, let the eyes open. And let's start working with the wrists and forearms again. So what I'd like you to do is to come onto all fours, your hands and your knees. And you might take that cushion that you've got or a blanket and place it underneath your knees. Now we're going to begin a nice, long, juicy series of working with the wrists, using the ground to help us get into some of the myofascial tissues that may be adhering into the forearms For a majority of the muscles that run through the wrists into the hands, begin at the forearms and have the majority of the muscle fibers in the forearms themselves. First, what I'd like you to do is to turn the hands out to the sides. Now grip down into the mat as if you're pushing each and every fingertip down through the floor. And start to push down as well into the knuckle pads. So you've got your knuckles here, on the other side there are knuckle pads. And you want to drive them down into the floor and attempt to lift the point between your fingertips and the knuckle pads. You're also going to slightly feel like you're lifting or pulling together towards the spaces between your knuckle pads and where the inside of your wrist hits the ground. This creates two little arches, one in the fingers that I'm pulling underneath here, and one in the arch of the hand that I'm getting here. It's almost like you're trying to pull up dirt from the ground, but you're also pushing down through the earth at the same time. Now, while you're doing this, with each exhale, you're going to lean towards one side until you feel either a stretch through this side or congestion on this side. Either way, it's an energy blockage, and you're going to take 5 breaths here in this energy blockage, attempting to let the mind cool and calm itself. You're looking to take big, long, steady breaths, and my breaths are pretty long, so you might be doing more than 5 breaths here. That's okay, no worries. Doesn't really matter how many breaths you're doing, but we want to spend a little time over here. Just big, deep breaths. You might feel that you can move a little bit further over to the side. Don't forget to push through the floor and grip. Wow. Noticing that the pushing and the gripping create a little bit more sensation. Breathe through the sensations like you're inflating everything that you feel intense. With an inhale, now move back towards the center. And we'll be repeating things on the other side. Take a nice exhale. Lean over this way. Notice any adhesions. Is there more to this side of the wrist or this side over here? Gripping the floor like you're really trying to grab at something. Also pushing down enough into the floor to where you might notice that your arm seems like it's getting longer. Breathing nice and big, nice and easy. See if you can move over a little bit more in the direction of intensity, where you suddenly think, that was a lot. Now you're thinking, whoa, this is tremendous. Big inhale. Nice long exhale. Come back. Take pressure off the wrist. Start to move them. Start to notice if there's anything feeling different through the wrists. And try to move through those differences. I like to do circular motions and also a movement independently of the fingers. Kind of thinking about playing piano a little bit. Just getting things that start to wake up the backs of the hands. Coming back to all fours, I'm not going to challenge you to see if you can move from having the fingers out to the sides to maybe having fingers pointed diagonally back towards you. Maybe you're able to walk the hands all the way into a position to where the fingers are pointing towards your knees. From here, lean back. Send the hips back. Feeling some of those same sensations that we just got side to side now. Possibly a stretching of the inner sides of the forearms, possibly congestion in the wrists,